All right, this is Scott back with Dashing Nerds with Joe and Pete from Rhymes with Asia and the Dobaga on Twitter. And Bethesda's conference has wrapped. So what did we think about this one?
It was all right.
Better than EA.
Well, like that's the thing. I don't know if I would have had a more negative reaction to this conference if EA hadn't happened, if EA hadn't been bad. Because, again, they had sort of the same problem as EA, is that they've had barely anything to show. But the thing is, unlike EA, what they did have to show was really good.
They definitely did a better job presenting.
Yes.
I think that's a good thing to start. Interesting when they open with a little, just right out of the gate with Quake. Quake Champions. There was the rumor
Quake
that...
Watch.
Yeah, I think what you mean is Quake Overwatch.
An arena shooter with the heroes, and it seems very Overwatch. The league beforehand was kind of suggesting that it was doing Quake, but not necessarily with this spin, though it makes sense. I mean, last year we saw Elder Scrolls Legends try to capitalize on the Hearthstone popularity, and now it seems like they're trying to follow the Overwatch popularity with Quake Champions. People are noting that in the text crawl, there was, under the Wolfenstein list of games, there was New Colossus.
With no release date shown.
Yeah,
so and rumors have said that, is it Machine
Games.
Machine Games is making a new Wolfenstein, so that would make sense.
So I think, if anything, when people are saying, like, oh, where's the new Wolfenstein, where's the new Evil Within from Tango Softworks, I think, like, there's kind of your hint of where they are going.
Like, didn't The Old Blood just come out?
No, it was about last year.
Yeah,
early last year.
I feel like that's still a little too, I don't know.
Well, Bethesda they seem to like to very much announce things and not have super long to wait before they're actually released. So it's very possible that we could see both Tango Games and Machine Games projects next E3.
Sure. I did like, though, starting with that kind of surprise and just right out of the gate, because you could have easily taken just an easy sort of soft, sort of launch. I did like that kind of surprise approach.
It was a nice surprise. It was a pretty cinematic. It wasn't gameplay or anything. They said they'll be showing more at QuakeCon in August.
I feel like there might not have been a lot of gameplay. It might not be that far along. Part of me wants to say that they were waiting to see how well Doom did. And now that Doom is a success, they are probably really pushing production now.
It's certainly possible. I mean, with id Software and everything, I think they have a certain degree, like a pedigree of quality and things to them. So,
which is nice to see after how Rage struggled, was it 2010 or whatever, and to see them return with Doom. Yeah, they talked about the multiplayer DLC, but to have the demo of the first level go out. Now, granted, I think I saw the last screen of it where they plastered all the awards around it, and it's like, buy now. And it's like, well, yeah, sure, these are demos in 2016. What do you expect? But good to see that kind of initiative going, whereas when people are doing more beta, I guess, the demo approach that way to show more people that do
the finished
success.
Product. And it's like, this is what you can expect, more of this. And I'm a bit surprised that it's only available this week.
Yeah, it's timely though. Like, it is timely.
I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if they extend it to after E3 just for the first level demo kind of thing.
Right. It should honestly just be a full demo forever, but I don't know. They must have reasons.
It's still a nice gesture for whatever, for what that's worth. They talked a bit more about Elder Scrolls Legends, the card game. They showed a bit of a story trailer. I know that it's also going to be coming to Android and iPhones and tablets,
which I thought was a given.
Yeah. I had thought it was already out, but I guess they're still in beta. But
yeah, it's beta. I mean, those card games don't do much for me. I know people who enjoy Hearthstone, but yeah, it's really the catch up of a lot of companies trying to capitalize on that. Not only with Elder Scrolls, you have Star Wars with the Galaxy of Heroes, and we're soon about to see an announcement for Gwent. So
which people like. I love that part of Witcher 3 was Gwent, and if they have its own game, I would be cool with that. But I don't. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how Elder Scrolls Legends could really break into the mobile card game strategy market, but that has yet to be seen. Fallout 4 got some new expansion or DLC announcements with the contraption workshops and being able to build your vault. One of them comes out. The contraptions comes out this week. I want to say.
I think that's what it said. Yeah.
And then the vault is next month in July, and then Nuka World in August.
Nuka World looks great.
It's good to round out that season pass because when they bumped the price from 30 to 50, there had to be more. And I don't think these are really doing much for people. But when then they shifted the focus to talk about VR and Fallout 4 VR in 2017.
Right, the full game for VR. That'll be interesting. Doom for VR they were showing off at their Bethesda
I was
10.
way more excited for Doom. That sounds awesome.
That would give me motion sickness.
It sounds like it would give me a panic attack, but it's awesome.
I would love to try it exclusively to Vive.
Yep, and which makes sense. I mean, Vive is the biggest proponent right now with the performance and the quality and all that. So that makes the most sense, especially when you're talking about navigating a 3D space. It's what Vive is designed for. I don't think they talked about, unfortunately, Doom as a standalone product because they only talked about 2017 for Fallout 4 on Vive. But yeah, I would love to see both. It's good to see actual good standalone game products talked about for VR instead of these
actual games,
these experimental
ones
sort
that
of things.
Fit on VR too.
Yeah.
That it's not just going to be a bunch of like test demo or tech demos or like mini game compilations, things like that. No, it's like you're getting Fallout 4 in VR and perhaps later on Doom. I mean, I think that would definitely be a harder game to pull off just tech wise, and you would need a godly PC to be able to run a good quality Doom game on the Vive. But
it shows a lot of promise, and it's a good hopeful test case for those kind of experiences.
It makes me feel that VR isn't going to just go away.
Right. Yeah, because it's certainly a slow first year, but it'll be market adoption.
And with Fallout going VR, that just screams to me the next Elder Scrolls. Like Elder Scrolls 6 will be VR compatible, or there'll be a VR mode.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think that's almost a given at this point.
I'm actually certainly shocked that Skyrim does not have one.
Yeah, you'd think so, though. Yeah, Skyrim was a great upgrade.
The Skyrim Special Edition, not called Remastered or anything, includes mods. Very big graphical leap.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when they did this, the screenshot comparison.
I was certainly expecting just a refined edges, a little coat of paint there. It looks like they took actual mods that sort of beef everything up, and it looks really impressive. October 28th for a release date, a full $60. It does get on PC as well, in addition to the consoles,
PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah,
that's big.
And it has the mod support on consoles like Fallout 4 is doing, so that would be cool.
And if they took the effort to make those games, at least bring it to the consumer, it makes a lot of sense. But some people could worry, are they milking the Skyrim teat a bit too much? I hope people aren't disappointed that they were hoping to see Elder Scrolls 6 because that was way
too soon.
Yeah, to me, it just feels like they're not milking the Skyrim thing more than anybody else that's remaking all their games. Their PS3 games for PS4.
In a way, but it's been 5 years since Skyrim. That seems surprising. It's been a game that has gone through so many iterations.
I think with Skyrim, they released a lot of versions of Skyrim because you had the original vanilla Skyrim, and then they eventually released the Game of the Year edition Skyrim, and then everything like that. And now it's another version of Skyrim for another $60. Granted, it looks beautiful, and it's being done in-house, so that makes me feel good. And I think they'll do a good job. I think they definitely have Bethesda and ZeniMax have a good idea that if they are going to charge $60, that they should make it worth $60.
Yeah. I mean, if we're looking for 2011 games we want remade, I want to see LA Noire, but that's not going to happen.
I'm still waiting for Agent.
Oh yeah, well maybe the Sony Conference of Dreams.
Who knows? Who knows? After that, Arcane Studios Dallas announced they were working on Prey.
Dallas are awesome. One of those
Austin.
One of those
it was
Texas
in Texas.
Ones, yeah.
So Prey 2 is now just Prey.
It's just Prey.
It apparently is a lot different than what it was when it was
It looks almost Dead Space-esque.
Yeah.
It looks like a psychological thriller. You have mind warping powers or something, and you have to fight aliens.
I'm very interested. It looks interesting.
It looks pretty. No release date given for that. I imagine that will be a 2017 release.
Probably. It was the first feeling I had of this is E3, where you're watching a trailer and maybe you get a sense of what it is, but it's just this is that. It gets that new trailer feel where we're all excited and just kind of pouring over every little bit that happens, not just okay, I know a bit about Dishonored 2, or okay, yeah, more Skyrim. Like, for how early the trailer reveal was, it's just like, yes, after the disappointment of EA, like, this is what E3 is.
Right, and I didn't even get that feeling from Quake Champions, especially because from the moment they started showing like their champions and doing special powers, it's like, this is just Overwatch with a Quake skin.
Yeah.
Prey legitimately felt like, whoa, this looks really cool, looks really interesting. It's like a futuristic society. It's very confusing, very kind of heavy shadows.
Had a weird Groundhog Day feel to it, with him waking up on the same day every day.
Now, it looked like it could have been gameplay footage, but it had a strange polish to it, so I doubt it was. But if it matches close to it,
could be ultra like. I could see it being like an optimized game engine.
Maybe, yeah.
What they're going to try and hit, but yeah. Elder Scrolls Online launches June 23rd in Japan, and Dark Brotherhood DLC is coming to consoles Tuesday.
It's big for Oblivion fans.
Somebody was really excited
there
about
was
that.
Elder Scrolls Online girl. Yeah, she was wooing the entire time. Everything they said.
The first E3 meme, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the fan right by the microphone. And then you also had the one Tamriel update, which is like, as soon as you go through like the tutorial stuff, the whole world's open up to you.
Yeah.
And
To me, at first I was thinking like, that feels like it defeats the purpose of an MMO, but no, there are a lot of people really, really excited about that.
Well, I think it makes it more Elder Scrolls and less MMO.
Yeah.
With being able to go to areas where you will get destroyed because of higher level monsters and everything, that's fine. Because that's what you can kind of do in Elder Scrolls. It's much more open world, and you can partner in quest with friends regardless of whatever level the two of you are, so that'll be nice.
if they can keep it balanced and not broken, I think that's the ideal.
Yeah, I think that'll raise their player base a good amount, because people will be able to bring in their friends and not have to worry about, all right, now I got to babysit my lower level friend until they're ready.
And hopefully, if it does go well, more MMOs will adopt it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
And then I guess Blink-182 was singing a concert.
Welcome to 2006. So, that would have been a good thing in 2006, but not 2016.
The Bethesda VR we talked about. And then towards the end, the last 20-25 minutes just kind of really slowed down with a lot of Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 looks amazing, but the way they presented was slow. The world demo where they just showed different environments and lighting and talking about their Void engine that it's running off of really slowed down their conference.
The big problem, I think, if they would have just done that gameplay demo just by itself, the real problem was Mr. Monotone sitting up there with no diversity to his voice. Just, he was putting people to sleep.
I was zoning in and out a few times. Like, I had been up since 5 a.m. that day, and for it to reach 11 p.m., I was like, oh man.
And I'm interested in Dishonored 2. I liked the first one, except for my grudge for the end, which I won't get into here. But it looks good, and it looks fun, and the trailer they showed at the very end was phenomenal. I've already watched it 3 more times since it came out. And
your computer even wanted to keep watching it last night after you put it to sleep. It was crazy. The sound was just coming out of his closed laptop.
It made no sense. But
the power of
Dishonored, yeah.
Just that one guy ruined that whole demonstration.
Yeah. And him telegraphing and saying exactly what the person in the demo was going to do. Like, you're going to see a person jump down, and then he's going to pull a whale oil canister and make it explode. It's like, don't tell us that if you were literally going to show that.
It's a good example of
show don't tell.
Yeah, so I mean, E3 is all about the surprises, and it's kind of I think taking the page out of the book of last year's extended Fallout 4 demonstration, and I think they took away the wrong points of why that worked so well.
It worked because it was Fallout.
It worked because it was Fallout, and it had been so long, and it was such an anticipated game. And we saw Dishonored 2 last year. We have a general gist of yes, you have Corvo, you have Emily, like you have those two characters. It was good to see more, but for as much as it took up, and yes, it is their big fall game, but it was a bit on the heavy-handed side of it.
And I mean, otherwise, it looked good. And my big problem with Dishonored 1 is it didn't give you a lot of tools to be stealthy, but it really wanted to be a stealth game, and it looks like they fixed that in Dishonored 2. So
they have a bigger budget, I think, with Dishonored 2. Dishonored 1 was a very kind of, we hope people will like it kind of thing. Yeah. We've worked hard to make it really cool, and we hope people like it, and it was received really well. So now they have Bethesda money.
Sure.
So
No, I mean Bethesda's coming on strong. Like I think they're taking a lot of the right approaches. And as far as wrapping up the overall conference, I think we were a little questioning this year if it was the right approach for them to do another conference. And yeah, I think they had enough to do a conference. Right. There are still some more things that they can learn. If they keep this sort of approach, they can continue to do a conference should they wish. But they have to make sure that they understand why the extended demos at the end works for certain games and not for others.
Yeah. Right.
If I had to give it a grade, I'd say C+. It was pretty safe for the most part. We did see some positive things. I mean, the Prey reveal was nice.
Right.
I mean, Quake Champions doesn't do a lot, but it was another.
It's a new Quake game, and that's a big series, and that they'll show more at QuakeCon.
But so much of it was middling, and there weren't really like the big wow moments. I mean, Fallout 4 last year was a wow moment, and that really put it over the top. But to show Dishonored 2 the way they did was unusual. I mean, but yeah, a lot of good work, and definitely a better showing than EA, which we can't say enough. So I would go C+.
What about you?
I'd actually agree with C+, which was the exact grade I came up with last night too. Mainly because, again, I don't know if I'd have as positive a reaction to it if EA hadn't come before it and been awful. If Bethesda had been the first conference again, like they were last year, I don't think I would have as positive a reaction to it. But otherwise, I mean, I was worried they weren't going to have anything to show this year because that's the only reason they did their big conference last year. They had Doom and they had Fallout and they had Elder Scrolls Legends. That's it. That's the game. But it didn't feel like they had as much this year. So Dishonored 2 looks fun.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
I think I have to go like B-, just a little step up because the fact that they showed the VR, Bethesda VR, that's incredibly... that they're putting so much money and kind of research into making that really good makes me really excited for what's coming out later. Even though Quake Champions isn't my thing, I'm really excited that they did announce 2 brand new games that people weren't really expecting, which is for E3. I mean, that's E3. So Dishonored 2 looks amazing. The gameplay they showed, the demos, very, very impressive. The fact that Fallout Shelter's coming to PC, they announced, and all the new stuff with Fallout 4. I enjoyed it. Everything might not exactly have been my cup of tea, but I definitely think they did about a B- job. So just a B- is in that range. So,
and we know the Woo Girl gives it an A+.
Yeah,
so.
Woo, and there was the Woo Girl, our first meme, basically. So, well, today we have Microsoft coming at us, so expect probably a pretty detailed reaction from that later. And thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you guys later.